When you make films like the gruesome and absurd House of a Thousand Corpses or the controversial reimagining of John Carpenter's horror classic Halloween, you are bound to raise some eyebrows. Somewhat shunned from entering the ranks of well-known modern directors, Rob Zombie offers something truly unique to the cinema with the committed grindhouse stylization and gritty values that wholly distinguishes him from the rest. Let's explore some of the projects he's been involved in up until now, including his upcoming reboot of The Munsters, as well as the trademarks of his directorial style and what one can expect and appreciate when starting a Rob Zombie film.
Yeah.
So we just thought like, oh, this is funny. And, we were huge Kiss fans, so it wasn't meant to be insulting in any way.
Yeah.
Early aspirations of a new horror icon. Though one might reasonably hypothesize that Rob Zombie, born Robert Cummings, was conjured up in a bubbling cauldron from a mixture of bat wings, fresh blood, and crude oil, he was actually born in as much mundanity as the rest of us, Massachusetts. In recollecting the shining cinematic figures of his childhood, Alice Cooper, Bela Lugosi, Stan Lee, the pure foundation for his unfettered interest in the macabre becomes abundantly clear. While his peers were playing superheroes, Zombie was actually studying the elites.
Bride of Frankenstein comes on TV, it feels like Halloween. Or even Halloween, that movie. Always makes it feel like Halloween, obviously.
The source of his stage name, Rob Zombie, would come from the 1932 Bela Lugosi horror film, White Zombie. Not only is Zombie well acquainted with the avenues of gritty, terrifying cinema, but he's acclaimed as a punk musical artist. After co-founding a band, White Zombie, also from the Lugosi film, with his then-girlfriend, Shawn Isolt, they would produce 4 studio albums, with songs reaching varying levels of acclaim. Most notably, Zombie would be nominated for a Grammy for Best Metal Performance for a music collaboration with one of his aforementioned idols, Alice Cooper, titled Hands of Death, Burn Baby Burn.
And then, I don't know, maybe because that was on my radar, then I don't know what record I first heard. I heard something.
Zombie would direct a number of music videos for the band before eventually endeavoring on his feature film debut in 2003 with House of a Thousand Corpses. The macabre, the man, and his muses. You can't mention Rob without mentioning his eccentric and sylph-like muse, Sherry Moon Zombie. If you've watched a Rob Zombie film, you've undoubtedly watched Sherry Moon in some absurdly silly, relentlessly brutal role. She's Baby Firefly in House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Reject, and 3 from Hell.
It's just, the whole thing is such a blur to me now looking back on it. I was just vomiticious every day before work.
She's a Salem witch descendant in The Lords of Salem. She's Deborah Myers, mother of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode in his Halloween remake. With the filmography of dark, lurid, and often silly films, wrought with sexual cruelty, dismembered flesh, and maniacal hillbillies, and with Sherry Moon happily taking up a role in nearly every one of them, it's no stretch to say that this Gomez found his Morticia. In fact, Zombie often chooses to work with the same set of familiar actors who already have experience working with him, such as Bill Moseley, Jeff Daniel Phillips, or the late great Sid Haig.
When'd you make this?
Just yesterday. I like the mask because it hides my face.
This makes sense. A distinctive, peculiar artist would certainly require equally as peculiar performers who understand his vision in order to properly convey whatever morbid tale he may be trying to tell. Also, Zombie does not edit out the slop, rather he revels in it. His films are as bathed in blood, sweat, and dirt, and as the terrorized or terrifying characters that they follow. As is to be expected from the grindhouse genre, he finds raw fear in the gas station, the carnival, or along the interstate. The dirty, low-level minutia of everyday life comes to a blinding and brutal, emphasis on the brutal, fruition if you are unlucky enough to stumble upon a clan of zombie antagonists.
I remember coming out of the movie like shell-shocked, like everything I thought about everything just changed.
Yeah.
They stink and smoke and make you want to take a shower afterwards. In recent years, mind-bending slow burns have permeated the genre, with up-and-comers like Ari Aster and Robert Eggers bringing in a new era of horror for the standards of modern audiences. While Hereditary, Midsommar, and The Witch are all already marvels of the cinematic art, despite all being far less than a decade old, horror connoisseurs are far too quick to rank them over what they consider to be cheesier, less refined cult classics. More akin to the campy exploitations of the 70s and 80s, most of Zombie's films led into a pulsing reservoir of primal fear that lay dormant until violently prodded forth. Gory brutality that is wrought with all of the intrinsic anxiety of being suddenly swept up in a group of savage strangers, of only realizing the depth of your discomfort until it is far too late to escape, and of raw, unadulterated distress.
Where's Lindsay, Tommy? Where's Lindsay? Right here.
For those who can't see the beauty in this, consider the infamous legacy of Cannibal Holocaust, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or The Last House on the Left. While deeply violent and explosive in a number of ways, they are surreal, morbidly intriguing, and unequivocally horrifying as they blatantly excel beyond the typical moral standards in scary movies, instead diving straight into the soft, scarred underbelly of humanity that even some of the greatest horror films never touch.
Jerry.
The true hellbelly, shamelessly exploring sex, death, and slaughter. Herein lies the cinematic significance of someone like Rob Zombie, who, outside the realm of your evoked set of great directors, has penetrated the mainstream through stylistic controversy, the best kind of controversy, I think. Through a number of films, whether it be the independently crowdfunded 31, or the box office success and graphic reimagining of John Carpenter's horror masterpiece, Halloween, Zombie has challenged public expectations and pushed boundaries that others dare not even to consider. Through the legacies of artists like Wes Craven, Tube Hooper, or even the famed Quentin Tarantino, are often employed in discussions about grindhouse cinema, Rob Zombie stands completely omitted from consideration, if not totally forgotten altogether.
Not my family that lived in the house, but if like an uncle came over, I'm like, I can't deal with dealing. Talking to Uncle Bill. I'll be upstairs. Call me when he leaves.
This video has been a concerted effort to change this narrative and to make the argument establishing Zombie as one of the fringe leaders of raw, graphic horror cinema. Audiences and fans can look forward to his next work, a reboot of The Munsters that is currently still in pre-production and features a number of his familiar favorites like Sherry Moon Zombie, Jeff Daniel Phillips, and Daniel Roebuck. Given his experience with remakes and eccentric stylistic tendencies, I'm sure it'll be everything that fans can expect and much, much more. Now go watch House of a Thousand Corpses.